Should the Tampa Bay Buccaneers possibly take a look at trading for a pass rusher, a star pass rusher at that, from the Miami Dolphins? Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, folks, I'm talking about two pass rushers from the Dolphins today. I know I said, a star pass rusher. I don't think they'd trade for two, but there are two different options on the Dolphins that I want to talk about. And I'm combining them in this video today because, folks, I've got a long spreadsheet list of like 12 to 14 names that I think the Buccaneers should be interested in coming up on this NFL trade deadline. So I'm going to combine some of them because it's a lot of scenarios where multiple of these guys play for the same team. So that is what that is there. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into it. The first guy I want to talk about here on the Dolphins is Jaelan Phillips. Now, this is actually a name that I saw a lot of you mention in the comment section of the Mark Andrews video. I've seen some chatter online about how this guy could possibly be moved, and I wanted to talk about it. And look, on paper, there is a lot to like about Phillips. He's a former first-round draft pick, number 18 overall in the 2021 NFL draft. He is only 26 years old, will be 27 years old the upcoming season next year, and he's 6'5", 263, feels like he'd be a really, really good fit for a Todd Bowles style of defense, all things considered. Whenever you take a look at the statistics, it's also pretty impressive. 8.5 sacks in year number 1, 7 sacks in year number 2, 6.5 sacks in year number 3, Year number 4, he was injured. We will talk about that. And then in year number 5, because he is playing on that 5th-year option right now, he already has 1 sack this year, which is as many as Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick, so he's playing just as good as those guys. And it is certainly a scenario where Phillips has been pretty impressive in the limited capacity that we have seen him. 51 games played, 34 games started. That's still pretty good work, in my opinion. Now, a big caveat here is that Phillips has dealt with 2 big significant injuries in his NFL career so far to this point. In 2024, he was placed on the physically unable to perform list due to an Achilles tendon tear that he suffered in 2023. So in that 2023 season, he played in 8 games, started 6, still had 6.5 sacks that year, by the way, but did suffer a torn Achilles. Not great. Then in 2024, he suffered a season-ending knee injury in a week 4 loss against the Tennessee Titans. So that is back-to-back season-ending injuries there for Jaelan Phillips. That's scary, right? That's certainly a scary thing whenever you think about trading for a guy and possibly investing long-term in him. That's something you really need to think about. Now, he's been healthy so far this year. He's played and started in every single game so far this year, but has he lost some juice because of those injuries, leg injuries, significant leg injuries at that? Is what he has suffered here. So I am curious to dive deeper into that and see, like, okay, what's really going on here. But folks, before we dive deeper into that, I do want to say shout out to Sleeper, the proud sponsor of this channel. Folks, if you guys do use the code MrBucks, you will get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Also, now, whenever you sign up, you get $20 for free just for signing up. That is with the $100 deposit match up to $100 whenever you use the code MrBucks. Guys, go download the Sleeper app today and enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. So, we've talked about the rough injury history with Phillips. We've talked about his overall play, and he might have been losing a step here, but what does the contract look like? Well, Phillips' contract, as I said, he's playing on that 5th-year option. It's a $13 million cap hit. That's obviously going to be lessened because we are in the middle of the season. And I think that whenever you take a look at that he is on an expiring deal, when he has had back-to-back season-ending injuries, this is a deal that I don't think would necessarily be very expensive to orchestrate in terms of capital given up. I think that a 5th-round pick is very adequate compensation for a guy like Phillips. Obviously, if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you're probably seeing that and scoffing and thinking, like, what are you talking about? But for a guy who's had back-to-back season-ending injuries, for a guy that is on the final year of his deal and has no guarantees to be re-signed at this point, I think the Dolphins would take certainly what they could get in regards to any type of compensation for a player like Jaelan Phillips. And I understand that the potential upside is still there, but I could see teams lowballing because of that injury history and because of the recent lack of production in terms of this year. Could very well be a low risk, high upside type of move. The next guy, and also, sorry, whenever we take a look at the PFF numbers, this does kind of lend to say, like, hey, Phillips has been still pretty solid this year. 60.1 defensive grade overall is fine, I guess. Not a great run defender this year so far, but in previous years, he's been pretty good. Tackling has certainly been a bit hit or miss. The pass rush numbers have always looked pretty solid, and even in coverage, he's doing okay, which, for some reason, the Bucs like dropping their edge rushers back into coverage, so he does fit that mold in there as well. So, yeah, Jaelan Phillips is certainly a guy that I think the Buccaneers could be interested in. The other guy I want to take a look at is Bradley Chubb. Remember Bradley Chubb, former great guy of the Denver Broncos? He then found his way to the Miami Dolphins. He's a guy who could possibly be an option as well. He was the 5th overall pick in that 2018 NFL draft. He is 29 years old, will be 30 years old next season. And Bradley Chubb has been very, very productive this year. 4 sacks this year, everyone. Now, he's another guy. Torn ACL in 2024, did not play, okay? But he's certainly not showing any signs of slowing down. Has 11 sacks in 2023 as well, 6 forced fumbles, which was absolutely insane. 8 sacks in 2022. He made the Pro Bowl that year. 7.5 in 2020. Made the Pro Bowl that year as well. And for some reason, didn't make the Pro Bowl in his rookie year. He had 12 sacks. Out of the two guys, Bradley Chubb is certainly the guy who would take more to trade for, but I did want to throw his name out there because you never know, right? You never know what could happen with Bradley Chubb. And his deal is also a very, very expensive deal in that right as well. He's still got a couple years left on his deal, everybody, and right now, it's a cap hit of $12 million, but then it explodes into $31 million after that, if you guys can see right here to the left. So that's a move that I don't necessarily know if the Buccaneers would make. If you did make a move for Bradley Chubb also, it's probably going to cost a good bit, probably minimum a 4th round pick and some change. That's like lowballing the heck out of it. It'd probably cost more towards like a 3rd or a 2nd round pick. So out of the two, you know, I do think it'd probably be a bit more likely that or not even a bit more. It'd be much more likely that Jaelan Phillips would be the more likely trade target rather than Bradley Chubb. But I did want to throw Bradley Chubb's name out there, again, just to cover all the bases. So, yeah, you know, could possibly be an option in there as well. We both know that these guys have a lot of good upside. I think Bradley Chubb has more immediate upside, of course, just because the dude's crazy good. Jaelan Phillips is very solid as well. I'm also taking a look at the PFF numbers, by the way. Yeah, Chubb's been struggling a little bit this year in terms of all the numbers and whatnot, which is interesting to me, given his overall statistics. So, you know, it is what it is. But Jaelan Phillips is the main guy I wanted to talk about today. I did just want to throw Bradley Chubb's hat in the ring as well. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions about this? Do you think the Buccaneers should trade for a Jaelan Phillips or a Bradley Chubb? Let me know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.